The shock rifle is one of the most iconic weapons in Unreal Tournament, able to cope in almost any situation that's thrown at it. Personally, I consider it the Swiss Army knife of all the weapons, with both long to short range capabilities as well as being able to output massive damage with its combo ability. To fire the shock beam, simply tap or hold mouse 1 down. The shock beam is a hit scan weapon, capable of hitting targets at all ranges in an instant. It's more suited to medium and long ranges, but due to its knockback effect when hitting an enemy, it can be incredibly useful in a close range fight too, preventing your enemy from catching up to you if you're trying to run away. Or if your aim is really on point, you can sometimes keep your opponent pinned down with multiple shots, pushing them back even further. Doing this can really output a lot of damage very quickly, as the shock beam has a relatively quick reload time, as well as doing 40 damage per hit. The shock rifle's secondary fire is the shock core. To fire this, simply tap or hold down mouse button 2. The shock core fires a slow travelling large projectile of light that can destroy incoming fire from certain weapons, giving it some shield-like properties. The shock core also has a knockback effect just like the primary fire, and its firing rate is surprisingly quick, making it incredibly useful as a close range last resort, plus it does 50 damage per hit. Now, the shock core by itself isn't really much of a useful weapon, only really being useful in a close range environment, but when it's combined with the shock beam, it becomes the most versatile and powerful weapon in the game. To perform a shock combo, simply fire out a shock core. While it's travelling through the air, hit that shock core with a shock beam. This will detonate the core into a shock combo, opening up a mini black hole with a wide area of effect that can do up to 188 damage depending on how close your enemy is to the centre of the blast. Now, landing a shock combo in a small narrow corridor or a choke point where the enemy can't really dodge or get out of the way of them is relatively easy, and you're always going to land maximum damage most of the time. But when fighting in more open environments, shock cores are somewhat more predictable and easy to avoid. So you really need to force your enemy's movement so you can actually land some of that big combo damage. This can be done with some well placed shock cores that cause your opponent to jump in the direction you need him to go. So what I want to do is fire out a shock core just to the left of my opponent, but this shock core is just the bait. I don't plan to detonate this core, it's just used to force his movements to a more predictable pattern, as most players will instinctively dodge to the opposite side of incoming danger. But as soon as I fired that first shock core, I've already repositioned my aim as quickly as I possibly can to anticipate his next movement so I can land that next shock combo. Now, unfortunately I only did splash damage, so I'm going to repeat the same process until I kill him. When landing a combo, always make note of how much ammo you have left. For each time you make a combo, it will use 5 shock ammo. Now, if you and your enemy are both using shock rifles, you can shoot each other's shock cores, saving yourself from a potential shock combo that could be detonated over your head. But if you're really lucky and get the perfect timing when your enemy has just fired a shock core and you fire a shock beam at the same time, you can kill your opponent with his own shock core. This can be really annoying, yet somewhat very satisfying. You can also cancel out incoming shock cores by firing a shock core at it as well, so if they both collide, they cancel each other out. The shock rifle is great in almost any situation, whether it be spamming key locations, objectives, choke points, hallways, or just fighting in big open spaces. Both its defensive and offensive abilities are not to be trifled with. Its only real weaknesses are dealing in extreme close ranges, as you won't be able to combo due to the interval between shots. Also, the link gun is a great counter to eliminating those shock cores. Also, the shock rifle is one of those weapons that is easy to pick up but hard to master. Anyone can do a standing still combo, but to do it under pressure while avoiding enemy fire in the heat of the moment, that's where the true shock masters are made. So that's the basics of the shock rifle. It goes a lot deeper than that, and I recommend that you check out my YouTube channel for more advanced stuff in terms of how to aim with hit scan, and also advanced comboing guides that I'll be doing much later on in the series. But good luck out there in the tournament, guys. I hope to see you out there soon.